Morning, everyone. Happy Monday. How's it going, traders? All right, so today's levels look a little bit different on NQ because we do have rollover. If you guys didn't know, we have a new contract for NQ and ES. It's the U6 contract, so make sure you're trading the right one. If you do use TradeSyncer or any like copy traders, make sure you upload the new contract. And then we had news over the weekend with apparently we're signing a deal for the war to be over. So big move up. So let's see what we get at the market open. I'm going to stay patient with that. Gold is actually coming up to a resistance level. I have a little red box marked off here. We've been rejecting that every time we come up to it, and we're also at previous week's value area high. But we've had a big move up on gold too. Gap open, or gap up at the open. And not really looking like it's super rejecting right here. Hilton, new member, welcome to the channel. So really for me, I'm planning on just seeing how the first 15 minutes of the open happens. Because that gap up and move last night was pretty crazy. And then, like I said, contract rollover is always a little bit funky. We'll be watching to see if gold rejects this level, though. Any sort of resistance that I had marked off on all of this stuff just blew past those. What are you guys thinking, chat? What are you watching for today? Anything specific? Which MNQ am I on now? It's the U contract. Watch the gap. Yeah, possibly. I don't know. It's been so bullish though. I wouldn't expect it to like gap down immediately. We'll see though. Market's about to open. Let's see what we get, gang. All right. Market is open, so let's zoom in here. Looks like that move up from maybe the war news is continuing. Lenka probably just watching today. Not a bad plan. There's lots of crazy stuff going on this week. The war headlines over the weekend, contract rollover. We do have FOMC on Wednesday. That's always a big one. And that can make the markets a little bit funky this week. So if you guys are trading today, trade safe. Size down, manage your risk, you know, all the normal stuff. But let's see. Follow our plan. We might find ourselves a good trade. Well, blasted right through that overnight high. Oh, man. One of those days where you just market order long at the open and you make money, right? Well, I'm going to wait for this to settle a little bit. Obviously looking bullish right now, but not going to chase it. What'd you guys do this weekend? Anything fun? I feel like every time I ask, there's like 2 or 3 people in the chat that went camping. Did anyone go camping this weekend? If not camping, what'd you guys do? Oh, you saw a movie. What movie did you see? Still Dog? I haven't seen a movie in a while. And when I do see movies, it's like... it's movies for my kids. I haven't seen, like, an adult, you know, above-rated PG movie in a couple years. I saw the Mario movie a couple months ago. Oh, we do have someone who went camping in the chat. I love it. Just got back from Cancun. You had a fun weekend. Couple people did yard work. Lots of sports watching. Yeah. Watching the soccer tournament. That's fun. You watched the Astros Friday night? Nice. I don't really watch baseball if it's on TV. I enjoy going to a game. I think it's more about the atmosphere. But I don't love it on TV. I feel like it's super slow. I get bored. Played pickleball. Cool. You guys did some fun stuff this weekend. Well, George, that's a tough weekend. I'm sorry to hear that. Are we returning back to normal volatility? Yeah, Carrie. I mean, part of it could be the fact that we gapped up and had a huge move at the Asia Open. So things could be settling a little bit from that. I know a lot of times in my experience, if there's a huge move, it'll consolidate a little bit. The market will kind of figure out which direction it wants to go, needs to settle. Also, we have FOMC on Wednesday, and that affects the market too. Could be kind of a rangy day for the next couple days. But yeah, a return to normal volatility might actually be nice. Not have to have like a 65-point stop loss. We still got about 6 minutes left to see how this 15-minute opening range settles. No signs of gold rejecting that resistance level that I had. We'll see if it comes up a little bit higher and then rejects. But don't want to be trying to find the top and short the top. That's a dumb move. My 1 minute chart is 1 minute slower than yours. So the YouTube has a natural delay. There's like an 8-second delay. It shouldn't be a whole minute slower than yours. Someone was asking me about how I mark off my previous day levels. Let me see where the question was. Previous day value area high, value area low, and point of control. Yeah, so the levels are a little bit funky right now with contract rollover and stuff, but I'll show you how I do it. I zoom into the 1 minute chart and I draw a fixed range volume profile. I'm actually not going to go to the correct time, but so the fixed range volume profile tool, it's this one right here on TradingView. And I go from the 9:30 a.m. 1 minute candle all the way over to 3:59 p.m. on the New York session. So click on the left, click on the right with the range. And then this is obviously not the New York trading hours, but if it was, then I would just get my horizontal ray tool and mark off the top of the white zone. That would be the value area high. The line would be point of control, and then the bottom of the white zone would be value area low. That's how I mark them off. But from 9:30 a.m. to 3:59 Eastern time from the previous day. We don't have any more news today. We had industrial production numbers at 9:15. And then we have a press conference, or Trump meets the French press at 11:30. So that's a couple hours after the open. That's something to be aware of. I have no idea what they're talking about, but with all the war news looming, I wonder if he's going to be talking about that. Although it's with the French press. I don't know. But anytime Trump is talking, it's a good idea to be careful. Yep, Todd, I have a training video that uses the session volume profile indicator. You can do it that way too. It's the same exact thing. It's just doing it with an indicator versus doing it yourself. When's the gap fill coming? I wouldn't count on it anytime soon necessarily. I don't know the exact data on it because I don't really trade gap fills necessarily. But a good amount of them do get filled, just not always that same day. I mean, it could happen at the end of this week or something. Maybe something will happen with FOMC where it goes down. We do have our 15-minute opening range set. We're breaking out above it. I don't love trading the breakout, the first break. I would rather wait for a retest to get a better risk to reward. Sometimes that means I miss the trade if it's a super bullish day. But for me, the trade-off makes sense. I'm okay with missing it and waiting for another setup. But definitely looks like it's Closing outside the range. So this is why I don't like trading the breakout, because I would put my stop loss below VWAP or below these wicks over here, and that's a 64-point stop. I don't love that. So for me, I'll wait, see if it comes a little bit lower. Maybe down to like 719-ish, something like that. It could just go, though. Coach Set, you wanted a 7,600 retest on ES? That's all the way back down to the bottom of the opening range. There ain't no way that's happening. I don't even know if I'll get the little baby pullback that I asked for. I just wanted a little bit. Come on, NQ. It's tough when there's like so much momentum like this and it just goes. Definitely tests my patience. I'll be honest with you guys. It tests my FOMO muscle. Because when I think rationally, I sit here and I'm like, there's always another opportunity. I can wait. But then I watch this big green candle and I'm like, dang it. I feel those emotions too, you guys. But I also do truly believe that there's always another opportunity. It just might come a couple hours later. Alright, chat. Who got in along on ES or NQ or whatever you're trading? Who caught some of that move? GT lap. There you go. If you had a good entry, if it was a part of your strategy, then I love it. I know there's a couple people in the chat that trade the 5-minute orb. So that would have been... Here's the top of the 5-minute right here. That actually did play out pretty nicely because it kind of came down and retested about the midpoint of the range. Actually, exactly. Any of you crazy folks who trade the 5-minute orb, that was a great setup. Because it broke out of the 5-minute, came back and tested the midpoint of the range, like to the tick, and then blasted off from there. Gary Birch, you in the chat? That's your setup right there, friend. Oh, no fair value gap. Yeah, it did chop around a little bit before it blasted off. All right, let's see if we get a little retest. We do have our New York anchored VWAP is at like 704, so somewhere in that vicinity would be a nice retest. I'll watch ES too and see if it comes back down or retests somewhere around 7611-ish. We'll see what we get. Hitting your TP. There you go. Cheechamus, you caught that. Love it. Yeah, Gary, we can definitely chat about some entry criteria. I think there's lots of ways to enter. You just have to have a clear criteria. So you have rules that you're following. But yeah, we can chat about that. You're in a gold and silver long. Let's see. Gold, I feel like, has been not moving great during the New York session. Like, this right here was the New York Open, and it's just been kind of wicky choppy. I haven't seen great setups that I like during the New York session. Asia, there have been great ones. It did break past what I had marked off as a resistance zone. Came up almost to 4,400. Starting to reject. Yeah, I don't know if I love longs on gold. Come on, retest. I think it was Carry Trades that was talking about returning to normal volatility. It almost looks slow, but it's not. But compared to last week, where it was like, I felt like I was having an anxiety attack every time I took a trade. Coming back to test this opening range high. Let's see if it comes a little bit lower, maybe down to the anchored VWAP. but don't want to be too greedy with an entry because I do think this is bullish. All right, I'm taking an entry there. I got in at 761. I don't have my account up. Hold on. There we go. I'm actually going to exit that one. Don't like the number of contracts I entered on. And I'm going to see if it comes a little bit lower. Just retesting the anchored VWAP. ES has not quite come down. It could come down a little bit further. Not looking like it's bouncing quite yet. Where's the midpoint of our opening range? All right. Entering long there. I feel a little bit better about that entry. Let's see if it actually bounces, though. Starting to get some movement away. What did I see at that entry level? So this is one of my setups that I really like to take. It's a 15-minute opening range, breakout, retest of the New York Anchor VWAP, and then trend continuation. So what I was watching for is ES and NQ bounced it, the anchored VWAP, right around the same time. So NQ came below it a little bit, but then got back up, but ES was a clean bounce. So that was my reason for taking the entry. But yeah, Souk U8T, check out my 15-minute opening range breakout strategy. This is exactly what it is. Breakout, and then instead of waiting for a retest of the opening range high, which is where I got in on the first entry and kind of messed it up, I usually wait for a retest of VWAP. Come on, keep going. By the way, chat, if you haven't already, go hit that like button. We got like 275 people watching. We have 63 likes. Wah wah. That's probably part of the reason with my, part of the problem with my position here. Guys gotta help me out. Hotel Zimmer, we are very bullish. Yeah, just a little. Maybe I have a little bit of PTSD though with all of the like false claims that the war is over. It's like a headline could come out at any point now from Iran saying, "No, we did not agree with what Trump said." Oh my goodness. All right, GT Lab, have a good one. I don't like that ES is dropping back below its 15-minute opening range high. Retesting VWAP. Let's see, maybe it's just one more retest and then it's just gonna skyrocket up. Maybe? Maybe? Needs to get back up above that range high. Come on. JP fan, there you go. That's a good mindset to have. Taking your time with that eval. No need to rush. Carry trades. I'm sorry to hear that. Share some of your trades in Discord. See if you can get some feedback on maybe something you didn't see. Joseph, I hope you're right. It's holding on for dear life right now. I agree, Carrie. This is some of my worst trading situations too. I think in this time, like when it's like this, you just have to give it room and let it play out. Have a wider stop loss, maybe. And then if you take a loss, just know that you gotta walk away. Come back when there's a better trend or when a key level gets hit or something. I get it though, it's hard. It's something that I still struggle with, to be honest with you guys. Like knowing when not to trade. There's still days where I'll take 2 losses or even 3 losses and I hit my daily loss limit, and I don't understand why until 2 hours later when I can look back at the charts and be like, dang, it was choppy, it was ranging, I shouldn't have even traded that. But when you're like in the charts, sometimes it's hard to see. Alrighty. It is not holding. So we have like 15 minutes until the initial balance is set. I think if I happen to take another trade, that would be what I'm waiting for. Music by Shay, like I was saying before, it's a strategy that I have with a really high win rate. 15-minute opening range breakout, retest to VWAP, continuation. I will take that trade at 10 out of 10 times. Hotels Emirates in the 60s. Yeah, this got super choppy. Look at the last couple of 5-minute candles. This is why you want it squishy, so you have something else to do. I know some people who like play video games or something. Like if you don't have to work, it is smart to distract yourself with something. Man, this next 5-minute candle is not looking any better. Still kind of looks like it's holding this level. It's just a matter of how much is it going to wick around before actually continuing where it wants to go. All right, Rowan, have a great day. Good job following your rules. In the next 10 minutes, if it's going up a lot, what do I look for to enter? I would look for a retest. So I would assume if it goes up a lot, that means that it would be breaking the initial balance high. So then I look for a retrace to like the 25% retracement or VWAP or wherever those line up. You too, Alec. We still have 2.5 minutes on this 5-minute candle, but so far looking like it's headed down. One thing I'm watching on this ES chart over here is the 15-minute opening range low, if it does retest, is right at our weekly VWAP. So there's some interesting confluence there. Gosh. A 5-minute candle, again, looks like it's holding that level. This is a mess, you guys. Yeah, I see what you guys are saying. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Playing around with it, see if I can get it fixed. I don't know, guys. We have 3 more minutes until the initial balance is set, but this is super choppy. Hotel Zimmer, you could be on a different contract. So this is contract rollover week. MNQ U6 is the one that I'm on, and MES, same thing. 2 minutes until our initial balance is set. Let's see if Edge Full is giving us any clues today. So the gap fill will give us a short bias, but that's only a 54% chance. All of these are in the 50s. I don't usually pay attention to those. Nothing good so far, so I'll just wait for the initial balance reports to show up. If it's got any sense, Edge Full won't be making any comments. Yeah, that'd be hilarious if Edge Full had jokes and you just showed up to the, like over here on the left, you can click on what's in play. And if there was just a big, like, error message that said, like, it's too choppy, you need to walk away. What's in play? Nothing is in play, because you should not be trading right now. That would be pretty funny. Do I have any videos on Edge Full? The only videos I have are how I trade the initial balance with it. So my most recent video, I think it's called like my A+ setup, or the only setup I need to trade futures, or something like that. It was the one that I did about a week ago. It's about the initial balance and the 3 reports that I use on Edge Full to trade it. But I don't have any videos on like all the individual reports, because actually if you scroll all the way down to each report, there's a video on each one that explains it. Edgefull's actually very good with their education. How does Edgefull calculate the percentages? They just take data. It's almost like backtesting that's done for you. So, like, for example, if you're looking at the gap fill, like, how often, if we open above the gap and the target is short, how often do we fill the gap? And it's saying 57% chance over the last, I have this filtered for the last 6 months. So that would just be one example. You could also look at fair value gaps. I haven't looked at like how this one actually works, but it'll tell you unmitigated versus mitigated fair value gaps and what the percentages are. So it's really just taking previous data and telling you, based on previous data, this is how you can trade it. All right, initial balance is set. Let's see what we get. So the initial balance reports, it's saying there's a 90% chance there's a single break. So that means that it's very likely that only one end of the range is going to break. The low was formed first, so there's an 81% chance that the high is going to break first. Opening candle continuation is giving us a long bias. So pretty much all along bias. So I agree with that. The tough part is that it's so choppy. It's like how far down is it going to come before it breaks out? So like if you got in along here and put your stop loss below that wick and targeted IB high, the risk to reward on that is not good. Could look at breakouts. So if the IB high breaks, what level is it going to? Initial balance by breakout. Let's say it does break out. Obviously it hasn't yet, but if it does, let's look at NQ. These are some targets that you could potentially look at. 0.2 extension, there's still an 81% chance. 0.3 starting to get a little bit lower at 74%. But those are some decent targets you can look at. 0.1, 0.2. It's tough though. Super choppy. It is holding the midpoint of the IB, which is sitting at like 701. Show the 5-minute FVG data, what kind of reports it gives. Sure, I'll pull it up. I've never even looked at the videos on these, so I have no idea what it's saying. But that's ES. You can do it for any symbol, really. But this is a 15-minute time frame. You can go over to customize and change it to 5-minute or 30-minute. You can filter it by weekdays, like if you want all weekdays or just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a specific weekday. But that's the data it gives, I guess. Pretty cool if you trade fair value gaps. There's so many reports in here. I haven't even gotten into like 80% of them. Coach said that is one of the most frustrating things ever. Definitely a tilt trigger for me when that happens. Especially if I like had a great day and I think I hit my profit target on all my accounts and then I go look and I'm like, are you serious? It didn't copy trade. The 25% retracement is this lighter yellow line up here. It's below it right now at 750. Yeah, I don't know, you guys. It is holding above VWAP. It's holding above the 50% retracement. And I get the feeling it's consolidating and then it's going to blast to the upside, but I don't like trading just based on a feeling. Definitely risky to take a trade here. What do the stats say for how far it can go down, like what the retracement is? Let's see. So it hasn't technically broken the IB high yet, but if you're assuming it is going to, on breakout days, 60% chance it'll go to the 0.25, 35% it'll go to the 50% retracement. Do I have any zones above price? I'm going to have a little supply zone, supply zone marked overhead, but that's pretty much at all-time highs, so dangerous to be shorting there. But you can look left and see there's wicks at like 894-ish, 890s. So if it does break out somewhere around there. It's so choppy though, I don't know if it has enough steam to do something like that. Did I do the futures course through Edgeful? No, I didn't. I've watched all of, I shouldn't say all, I've watched the individual videos for the actual reports that I trade with, but I haven't taken their futures course. Well, while we're sitting here watching paint dry, let's see what NQ's doing. Or gold's doing. Oh my goodness. Gold looks about the same. That's ugly. Is there anything that looks good today? Nope. YM. Similar choppiness. Exciting times on the charts today, you guys. VWAP is preventing the 25% retracement. No, it's below the 25% retracement. So the way I look at it is based on Edgeful saying that opening candle continuation is a long bias and there's more of a chance that the high will break first. So assuming that the high does break, obviously that's an assumption, it could come down. But the 25% retracement would be here at 750. So it's already to that level. Sitting at the 50% right now. Oh yeah, after huge moves up, it definitely tends to consolidate. That's kind of something I was saying pre-market. Like after that big move up overnight, it wouldn't be surprising if it is a choppy day. And then of course with FOMC later this week. that can make price kind of choppy, indecisive. All right, Gary, have a great day. That's a good plan, Hotel Zimmer. Set your alerts and walk away. That is one of my best strategies. When it's choppy like this, and I start to feel myself like hunt for a trade, set some alerts and walk away. You expect the gap to get filled, just when and how. You know what? That's actually a great thing for FOMC to make happen. I have no idea how that's going to go, but you know, if they're at the press conference afterwards, they have a hawkish tone. They're like, oh, we're probably going to increase rates. Or I think they already have one more rate decrease priced in by the end of the year. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I think that's what the expectation is one more rate decrease, one more rate cut by the end of the year. So if at the press conference he says something like, no more rate cuts, that could make for some fun volatility. Going long on hopes and dreams. I'm not gonna lie, I considered it on NQ. I was like, it's at VWAP, it's at the 50% retracement. If I just put my stop loss below that level, not a bad risk to reward if you're targeting IB high. But I don't have a good reason for it other than I think it's gonna go up. Is that not a good strategy, you guys? I think it's gonna go up. All right, so you can enter on a hope and a dream, or you can enter on a prayer. Maybe maybe there's a better win rate if you pray real hard about it. Well, your ES long is at least moving a little bit up. NQ is still just staying right there. Cross-mogination is Friday when they're supposed to sign everything. I see what you're talking about, Coach. I know you like those trend lines. Starting to get some volume behind it. All right, I'm going to enter 3 contracts. 747 is where I got in. So I'll be totally honest with you guys. This is not like I wouldn't say this is an A+ setup. This is just, it was holding a level that I've been watching. Volume was starting to come in on the move. And the risk to reward is decent if it does come up to that 0.1 extension that Edgeful was saying that it will. So could still come back down into this chop and stop me out. It was a little bit of a risk to reward play. We'll see if it plays out though. Edgeful is like a data subscription that you can use. It gives percentages on likelihood that different things are going to happen. So I use it specifically for the initial balance. Could even plan for it to go up to the 0.2. There's still a decent percentage chance of that, 81%. Let's see if it can even get out of this chop though. That is the first question. I would give this trade a B if I was going to grade it. Maybe a B minus. Good levels, decent risk to reward, just a choppy market. The conditions are what make it tough. ES has almost come back up to its IB high. Come on, NQ. Let's do the same. ES doesn't want to hit it because that's where your take profit is. It's coming, baby. I can feel it. It's coming. Be patient. Give it a little bit of room. All right, I'm going to move a couple dollars into profit. I'm going to watch and see what happens at this initial balance high. If it has a super quick rejection, then I'll probably just close it out. But if sellers don't show up, I'll look and see if it heads up to that 0.2 extension. AMAX shark charters, you hit your TP. Good trade. That's not good. Hopefully you fixed that real quick. Ace Trades, good morning. Do I have a shortcut I use to move my stop loss to break even? No, someone asked me that the other day. They're like, how do you get your stop loss to like move automatically? So I am sitting on Tradeovate on a different screen and I adjust my stop loss there. And then you guys can just see the movement on this screen. So it's not, I'm not adjusting it on TradingView. That's why you guys can't see my mouse like dragging it. I'm dragging it in TradingView. Or Tradeovate, I mean. Gran Turismo talking about the keyboard shortcuts. That scares me. Like when people talk about hotkeys, I would totally screw that up. And I guess I don't scalp, so I don't really need like super quick button pushing. But I would totally mess it up. I would be like, which button is the cancel orders? Or how do I buy? How do I sell? How do I... I would panic and forget which button is what. I know you can label them. You guys are going to think I'm a dumb blonde and I don't know how to figure things out, but I think I would have an anxiety attack with hotkeys. I would definitely mess it up somehow. Kimmer, actually, that is very true. This whole week, honestly, like if you can just be in the mindset of surviving this week, like maybe take one trade or don't trade, or if you do, take like half of your normal position, size down. Don't watch Asia and London and New York. Like if you have tendencies where you normally trade a bunch or you're aggressive or whatever, like this is a good week just to have the mindset of surviving with your accounts. Because I'm guessing after FOMC, there's going to be some really good opportunities. So what I'm trying to say is don't get blown up in this chop and then have to like be starting over with a new eval or something after FOMC when that might be when the opportunities present themselves. So if you start to feel the FOMO of like, I didn't find a trade today or whatever, remind yourself you don't have to trade every day. I should be telling myself that too, because I know this was not an A+ setup, not a perfect trade. So, thank you, Kimmer, for the reminder. Good advice. Why and how is the 0.1 above your 60-minute IB high? So those are extensions, Travis. So like on the initial balance breakout trade, like if you take kind of all the reports that I was putting together, the opening candle continuation, the likelihood that the IB high was going to be the one to break, That was part of the reason for taking a long off of VWAP and the 50% retracement. So you can target IB high as like TP1 potentially. And then the breakout levels, this report over here, if you go to reports, initial balance breakout by levels, if you can see that on my screen. I know the font's really small, but initial balance breakout by levels report, and then go to filter it to breakout days. It shows the percentage of the extensions that it'll go to, the likelihood. So the 0.1 is the first like extension target, 0.2 is the next one. So you can change your settings over here if you have the edge full indicator up. Scroll all the way down to these levels right here, and you might have to type them in. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. Put in like whatever ones you normally want to put, and then make sure the box is checked. And you can do the same thing for the negative targets if it's a breakdown out of the bottom of the range. That's how you set it all up. Hopefully that helps answer your question, Travis. You've backtested the gold strategy. It's kind of working well. Good. I'm glad you're liking it. We are at IB high here. If we start to close back below it, I'll close my position out. I'm actually going to trail my stop a little bit higher. Because that definitely could happen. It could reject at IB high. What's my thoughts on trading? Not sure what your question is. I like trading, if that's what you're asking. Obviously, I like it because I do it every day. Come hang out with you guys for a couple hours every morning. Is it worth getting into? Depends on you. If you're just looking for a little side hustle to like make some easy money and you're expecting to make money in the first couple months, or you think it's going to be easy, then no, I would not recommend trading because it's hard. But if you really like it, like you have to really like it enough to go through the pain of learning how to trade. Put in the hours of like researching strategies and backtesting and sucking really hard at it and losing money. And if you like it enough to go through all of that and make it out on the other side, and you're okay with putting in the work and potentially having it take a couple years before you figure it out, if that all sounds good, then absolutely. I think trading is worth it. But if you just see people like clicking buttons and making a bunch of money and you think it would be easy and you want to try it out, no, don't start trading. It's at the 0.1. Come on, baby. Are we going to go to the 0.2? Come on, Edgeful data. Come through for us. Good trade, Coach Set. All right, I'm moving my stop loss a little bit higher. Still watching to see if it rejects. Like I said, I might just manually close it. But going for that 0.2. See if it hits. No signs of ES rejecting yet either. Amax, check your mindset on evals and fundeds. I think that's a common stage that traders go through. I did too, where it gets to the point where it's almost easy to pass an eval, and then the funded stage is like you somehow screw it up. Check and see, like, do you feel like you're trading to a finish line? I actually just posted a short on this yesterday because I was thinking about it. But trading should feel like it's a long-term thing. Like, you're just trying to keep this account for the next 3 months. Doesn't matter when I get a payout. I'm not worried about I have to hit 5 green days of $150. I have to hit this consistency rule or this profit target. Like, prop firms give us a finish line, right? Like, you get a payout when you hit this finish line, but trading is not a finish line. Just trade. Just follow your process. Turn off your P&L, like block those numbers. If you're trading with Top Step, you can do that where you block your P&L and block your like daily profit and all that stuff. Just tune all of that out and just trade. Take what the market gives you. Doesn't matter how much you make in every day. And every couple of weeks, go check your account balance and you'll probably be surprised and be like, oh, I can take a payout now. So however you want to like flip that switch in your head, whether it's completely blocking off your numbers, block off your P&L, or just get yourself in the right mindset. But that's the biggest advice I can give is stop trading to a finish line. And I know I do that too. If I'm like 1 day away from a payout, I do the same thing where I'm like, oh, all I have to do is make $200 today and I qualify for a payout. And I do stupid things. I have to get that chatter out of my head and just trade. The Micromaster, welcome. Thanks for dropping by. So it came down to IB high, retested. Looks like it's getting a little bounce there. I'm going to trail my stop to the bottom of that candle at 798. Let's see if it hits my target. Yeah, no problem. Hotel Zimmer. Yeah, I'll tell you why I took the trade. So I graded myself, and I gave it a B. It was not a perfect setup. So it was holding the 50% retracement. It was holding VWAP. All of the edge full data was giving us a long bias. So I was looking for longs, and when it started to get this momentum and closed outside of the chop, that's when I entered. So there wasn't a great reason for it other than leaning bullish, and it finally started to get out of that chop with that last bounce off of VWAP. Also, at the same time, ES was starting to get some momentum out of its chop zone too. ODR outlook, that is a good question. Actually, for beginners, I'm not saying you're a beginner, but like if you're still struggling to pass an eval in a 30-day window, then definitely check out Lucid and Tradeify. Those are the two that I always recommend to beginners because they don't have a monthly subscription fee. So you don't have that 30-day time limit where you have to pass the eval and feel the pressure. Because I think that's a real thing. You know, there's a part of you, it's like the devil and the angel on your shoulders. There's one voice that's telling you, like, be patient, manage your risk, take your time, no need to rush, just take what the market gives you. Like, that's what the voice in your head that you should be listening to. And then there's the devil side of you that's like, I only have 7 more trading days until I have to hit a $3,000 profit target. Otherwise, they're going to charge me another $100 reset fee or whatever. That's legit pressure. So if you struggle to pass your evals in 30 days, go with Lucid or Tradeify because they don't charge you. I personally like the Lucid Flex. 2 reasons. One is it's cheaper than the Pro, and they both have the same max payout, so the ROI is better. If you're talking about the money that you have to put in versus what you can take out, Flex is good. And then also, there's no consistency in the funded. I would rather have it be that way. So with darn near every prop firm account, you're gonna have a consistency in either the eval or the funded, or they're gonna make you trade a total of like 5 days or whatever. Like there's some way that they're gonna make you prove that you're consistent over more than just 1 or 2 days of trading. But I would rather have the handcuffs on during the eval and then have a lot more flexibility in funded. And that's the way the Flex is. You have a 50% consistency in the eval, and then once you get to the funded stage, there's no consistency. So I like that setup better. You still have to trade to 5 green days before you can qualify for a payout in Flex. But you can make like $2,000 one day, and then for the remaining 4 days, you can make like $150 each day, and that means you qualify for a payout. So I think it's I don't want to say easy to qualify for a payout, but like the rules are super simple, super doable. Come on, baby. Let's go. How many hours was I in this trade? Okay, 30 minutes. It felt like 2 hours. Come on. For Tradeify, I do recommend the select account. I like it. I personally like the daily payout. So after you pass the select account, you can choose the flex payout option or the daily payout option. I like the daily payouts. There's just something about like whatever you make that day you can withdraw that just boosts your confidence big time. Like it just gives you that confidence that like, okay, I can do this thing as a trader. It's nice. All right, finally hit my profit target. I think I should be done for the day. Why do I have so many notifications on TradingView? Does that bother your ADD a little bit? Hotel Zimmer, I think I'll leave them there just to bug you every day. So I have a whole bunch of notifications because I set alerts all the time. Like I am a TradingView alert addict. And then I never go over here and clear them. I should do that. Is there a way to like clear all? I don't know. Oh, there we go. Do you feel a little bit better now, Hotel Zimmer? All good? As of today, Flex is $40 higher than Pro. What are you talking about? Do they announce some sort of sale that I'm not familiar with? So, no, it's not. So the Pro 50K eval with their current sale is $129 and the Flex is $98. So Flex is cheaper. Finally hit my profit target. W's in the chat. Let's go. Started off Monday green. Day one of FOMC week, and we survived. Which of the videos contains info on the levels? Check out the my initial balance strategy. I have two of them. One I did like a week ago. I think the thumbnail says like my A+ setup or something like that. That one is about the initial balance. And then I have one that I did like a month ago that's called something about the initial balance. Those are the two videos that I would recommend you check out if you want to learn more about the trade that I just took. All right, gang, I think I'm going to hop off there. Volume is definitely slowing down, and I don't like to trade this time of day anyway. A lot of times when I take trades this late, it means that I'm donating my green back to the market, and I don't want to do that. All right, team. Hang out in Discord if you guys are not already. Share any more trades that you guys take. And then I will be back tomorrow. Have a good one, guys. Take care.